Hello, hello, hello. It's Todd Horst here with Tasty Tracker. I'm outside with the dogs, so they will no doubt be barking. Today I wanted to talk about what if Biden wins, and so let's jump right in. So first of all, this isn't about politics. It's about our money, which we have invested or are trading, and we want to think about what could happen if Trump stays in or if Biden gets in, and we really need to prepare ourselves to trade with either party. It doesn't matter for this conversation, who is president now or anytime in the future. It only matters how we react to that and how we survive that. So if we put some big bet on the presidential outcome one way or another and it doesn't pan out our way, then we just blew our account. So we want to make sure we're doing everything we can to stay in the game as long as we can and obviously stay as profitable as we can. So I'm personally not actually that political. I consider myself to be pretty much center. I believe things on both sides of the aisle, depending on the topic. I do believe in voting, although, again, that's a totally different topic. In general, I would summarize my beliefs that the truth is somewhere in the middle, and nobody can do everything right or wrong. So that's sort of context for my political views. But when it comes to the stock market, generally speaking, it's best if you follow the trend and you remain neutral. That way you're not caught by surprise when there is a jump up or a drop down. If you find yourself calling the top or bottom, I know a lot of people love to call tops, and then they get all excited when they're correct, and that's fine if you want to do that for fun. But really, if you do that too frequently, especially with too large of a position, you can kill your account. Another way to do that is to enter too many positions and allocate too much all at once, especially like the same day. If you're spreading out your positions, entering those positions over a course of several weeks, you're much more likely to have a stable account than jumping in everything all at once. Next bullet point here is it's generally not too good to bet a lot of money on predictions, on hearsay, on assumptions or other guesses, what people are saying on the internet, what your gut is saying, because you can definitely be wrong, obviously, and the market can always do what it wants. So you need to be conservative with your allocation that you're putting towards these bets that are on something big like the presidential outcome. And I think the closer you get to the certain event, again, in this case, the president, the picture becomes clearer and clearer. And so then you can slowly start entering the market back again. And that's really the reason I'm creating this video. And I'll get to that in a bit. But okay, so second to last bullet point here, since the market and masses do what they want, this is more of a fun thought exercise. I was kind of asked about this, and so I thought I would go ahead and make a video. And I thought not only would it be fun to make one, but it would also be fun to come back in a year or two, revisit this video, see how wrong my assumptions were, etc., and have a laugh about it. But I will say, at the start of Corona, I didn't trust my instincts enough, and I had too much in the market, and my personal gut feeling was that people were not taking it, at least where I live, seriously enough, and I was getting frustrated by that because they hadn't sent me home from work. I was still working in the office, and the market wasn't responding. But I didn't trust myself, and I kept a lot of positions in the market, and then I obviously, if you follow the small account, basically halved that account or worse, because I could have easily pulled out, and basically my saving grace then was on the recovery. I trusted my instincts that it would be more of a V-shaped recovery and shorter term, and doing so, I've exceeded my original balance on the account. So anyway, let's move on. Okay, so before we start covering Biden, let's go over what we have here with Trump. Historically, Democrats actually have edged out just barely what the Republican presidents have. Percentage increase on general markets by during their terms. So I'll dive into that in a second again, but with Corona, obviously 2020, down here I have listed, is around 5.6% right now gain, which obviously Corona totally messed that up. Obviously it would be much better if that had not happened. But I do feel like 2019 could have been better. It always felt like there was something going on that the market was concerned about. And I know that's always the case to an extent, but it especially felt true for 2019 for me. That, I'm specifically referring to the trade war, but there were other items where the market would stay flat or go down for no reason other than the trade war or other things like that. And so right here I have the Trump's years. 2017 was around 22% gain. We have a negative 4.5% for 18. 2019 was a 31% gain, and 2020 is about 5.5% gain. So overall, this is not too uncommon for a presidential term. And these I pulled just from SPY Performance from Yahoo. And then from this article, I have here that Democrats around 14.3% on average, and Republicans 10.8% gain over the course of their term. And a lot of that is, I have a chart on the next slide here, but a lot of that is skewed because of different events that happened during those time periods. So that's really what this next bullet point is. In reality, there isn't that much of a difference. Not only is 11 to 14 not that much different to begin with, but ultimately the circumstances of those periods outweigh the influence of the president. I'm not sure. I wrote this on my phone. That sentence makes no sense. So the lower interest rates and the other stimulus that were put in place by Trump, I feel like they were ultimately held back by Trump in doing as good as they could have done if it weren't for some of the things that were, have been tweeted, or some of the actions that he's done, etc. So you have sort of two sides of Trump. You have the businessman helping to push some of these things through, and then the other half that wants to be more controversial and stuff. So here's the chart I was talking about. Bush Jr. here had a overall negative. That was also during the housing crash, and then you can see Clinton here has the highest, and he was a Democrat, obviously. So depending on if you just look at these numbers, you certainly have nothing to worry about if Biden would get in. But the reality here is, my actual point is that it doesn't actually matter necessarily who the president is, as much as the context of their term. So obviously, if you had a terrible president, they could still negatively influence things, but the world and the events that happened during those years largely outweigh the policy. So I wanted to bring up Elon Musk. I'm a big fan of Tesla, although I don't play their stock pretty much ever. But they had been growing slowly, steadily, but very slowly. And then 2018 was, especially the end there, was particularly rough. Elon tweeted a bunch of things that were careless and pointless, didn't serve any purpose other than to, just sort of be the crazy guy that he is. So 2018, 2019, they were very rough years for Elon and for the Tesla stock. He was erratic. and he caused several public lawsuits and investigations and negative attention for no reason other than to voice his opinions. So during that time period, the stock was extremely flat, or even down. And for reference, there's the 420 tweet and the pedo tweet. If you want to Google those, that's fine. So here I have a chart for Tesla. All of 2019, you can see they're just slightly down. And then all of a sudden, after numerous things in 2018, early 2019 happening to Elon, he finally decides that he's not going to say as many dumb things on Twitter. And look at what happened. There's all this coiling up, this pent-up demand for Tesla. There's also a lot of shorts and a lot of other factors. I'm not trying to simplify it too much, but you had basically 2 years of the stock going absolutely nowhere, and then all of a sudden he got out of his own, he got out from distracting everybody and got out of his own way is what I'm trying to say, what I was thinking of. And look at the stock in 2020, it goes way down here the whole way up to 439 after the split. But it's really been amazing to see Tesla, which, yes, they've also grown as a company. They've shown continuously that they can deliver. But you have to remember the Model S has been out for years now. So they've shown that they can continually evolve and deliver. So really, in my opinion, not much has changed from 2018, 2019 Tesla to 2020 Tesla, but they got out of their own way and just allowed their products to speak more for themselves, and look at the results. So that brings me next to Biden. So, we're fairly certain that Biden will increase taxes for corporations and wealthy. He'll probably close some loopholes. There's always more loopholes, but it might close a couple. And clearly that's not something that the market appreciates, or that rich people with lots of stock holdings appreciate. And so we have to acknowledge that those things are seen as a negative. But much like everything else, how negative they are and their total impact is overblown, in my opinion. This goes back to sort of my middle view. I don't think Trump was the worst president, and he certainly wasn't the best, and I don't think Biden will be either. That's just the reality. No one person is going to save the world or ruin it, my opinion. I don't think Biden will tank the economy. He has every motivation to ensure the market stays strong, like every president would. No president wants to get into office, have chaos break out, and have the stock market crash. So the thought process that Biden's going to come in and ruin everything just doesn't seem logical to me. There's no, Biden has stocks, and so does everybody in Biden's family, all the people he knows. So he's not going to go in and purposefully ruin the stock market. So, again, I said, why am I doing this video now? Well, I did have a question, and those following the 2 to 10K challenge noticed that the previous basically 2 months I had a larger cash position just sitting waiting to deploy, and now I'm slowly chipping away at that to getting back to almost fully invested. And originally I was saying, well, I am going to hold off until after the election, and election hasn't happened yet, and I'm always back up to fully allocated. But for me, the closer to it, the clearer the picture has become. So I realize polls aren't everything. They're very commonly wrong. But right now, it's saying that Biden has the lead. And I actually believe the market really started pricing in a Biden presidency back on 9/16, I tweeted. Since then, there's been a lot of sideways chop, indecision, and to me, it's too early to even think about the end of the year balancing, that kind of stuff. Certainly some people, but I don't see much of a reason for the sideways chop that we've had. So why did I start increasing my amount that I have invested? What is my conclusion here? Why am I talking? I I feel like Trump might have been good for businesses. You can debate that, um, but I don't think you can debate that he generated uncertainty. The market hates uncertainty, and a period of calm, aka a Biden presidency, could unleash the coil from Trump's term. So the market has been artificially held back, in my opinion. And if there's a moment in time where we just step back and let the market play out like it wants to, instead of uh, artificially creating conflict, whether it be with the trade war or certain things that are said, etc., we could let the time for like the lower interest rates to really do their work. The fear of a new taxing president will certainly create opportunities to buy, but I don't think this will be anything long. I think people will say, "Oh no, Biden's going to raise taxes," and then they'll get over it in a week or whatever, and we'll be right back to where we were. I also want to pull in the corona vaccine, which, again, you can have your own opinion with, but I believe that it will be coming. I know they're mass manufacturing a bunch of them already, just to see which ones pan out, and then they'll be ready to go. Once they are available and people are taking them, I believe people in general have a very, very short-term memory. And although that doesn't mean the recovery will be immediate to the economy, I think the process of recovery will be immediate. So after you get a vaccine, why not go out to the public bar, which you haven't been able to do for the whole last year. I think people are going to be out more, spending money that they were saving a bit, that were on the sidelines during Corona. So I believe that newfound freedom, the money that was saved potentially during that period, not everybody was able to save some money, but if your situation was good and you were able to keep a job, work from home, those kind of things, they will drive goods, which obviously will drive jobs. There's obviously going to be a lag period there where the numbers that come out aren't going to be immediately changed the second a vaccine comes out, but 6 months, then 9 months, and 12 months down the road, I think we will see considerable improvement. So the recovery from the initial overreaction, I think, will make 2021 a year to remember. So what do I mean by that? I think I am expecting a dip in stocks. I don't know how significant, but I could definitely see SPY going back down to 320 if Biden is confirmed. But to me, that will be an overreaction, and I think that will set it up so that 2021 is an even better percentage gain than if there was no reaction at all. Does that make sense? So we're hovering 340, 350 at the moment. We drop down to 320, and then beginning of the year, we start from there and go up, and that really sets it up again for the spring to be unleashed that was coiled up, for the vaccine to be unleashed, etc. So these are areas that I'm thinking about, and ultimately I decided that I don't think too much will change, that the positions I have on now will either be profitable and I can take them off before the election even happens, or I'll be able to roll them. As always, I'm in reputable companies, so they're not going anywhere, even if they were to have a momentary drop with Biden coming in. I should be able to roll them out. And so to me, that was worth the risk, that I'll start entering positions, and I'll continue to enter positions now the entire way through election is my current plan. So anyway, those are my thoughts and opinions. Certainly, if you have different opinions or if you agree with some of those things and want to mention other things that I'm not thinking about, that would be great. Have a constructive comment below, and we can always have a discussion about that. I'm certainly not all-knowing, and so more feedback and opinions, I think, can only be helpful, provided they are constructive. But anyway, I got links down in the description if you want. Like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And Tasty Tracker is my site. It's for free. You can track your stocks and option trades and get ideas from the community, which is rather nice. I've got lots of other tools going on, and I do have trade alerts on that site for a paid tier if that's something that interests you. These are all just my opinions, and this and all the videos are just for educational, entertainment kind of purposes. Again, I thank you for your time, and I'll talk to you next time.